Let's talk to Baz Ramaiah now, who's Head of Policy at the Centre for Education and Youth. He's a former A-level teacher. The number of pupils accepted onto UK degree courses has fallen from last year, down, not massively, but down sort of 2.6%. And I think that might be a reflection of just people's wider choices being made. Baz, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so, I mean, I mentioned it earlier this morning, I've got my own son, 18, who's had his results. He's surprised me, actually, because he decided suddenly, out of the blue, about sort of 2 months ago, he wanted to go to university. He's managed to get the grades to get himself there. But I was having many conversations with him before that, saying, look, you know, you don't have to go. It's not something that necessarily works for everybody. And I think after the sort of the mad rush to go to university, some parents and some kids are kind of reaching that conclusion as well.
Well, first of all, congrats to your son, Mike, on securing the grades he needs to progress onto the course that he wants to. But it's a very difficult day for lots of young people. Lots of young people, as you say, have failed to get those grades. And we don't have all the data on this just yet, but we do have some data that suggests that it's young people who are from poorer backgrounds who are losing out on those grades this year. So we know that the number of top grades awarded in the northeast, an area with a particularly high level of child poverty, has fallen, whereas the number of top grades awarded in London has actually increased. We also know that the number of university places that students from poorer backgrounds have received this year has also fallen as well compared to last year. So it does look like that it's poorer young people who are missing out on those top grades and missing out on going to university. And that's certainly unfair. And I think that's what we should be focused on today.
And so what will they do now? What can they do? What's the sort of the alternative plan for them?
Well, I think for a lot of those young people today, they'll be making some very hard decisions, having some very hard conversations. A lot of them will be looking to go through clearing, which is where they'll be trawling the UCAS website, looking at courses that aren't at capacity, where they might apply and they might secure a place. So there's certainly lots of opportunities for them there. But lots of them might be considering wider options, for example, taking a gap year, spending some time in work. Some of them might be considering pivoting to doing something completely different, potentially going straight into the workforce, particularly looking at some kind of technical qualification. So there's lots of opportunities that are open to those young people. But unfortunately, it is the case that if you are a young person from a disadvantaged background, those opportunities are fewer.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be more apprenticeships on standby out there these days, and also some more kind of what you might call blended education, where you do an apprenticeship, but you also do maybe a day release at college 1 day a week, that kind of thing. So I think that's a good thing, because I wonder whether for all people, it's going to university is not necessarily the answer, and suddenly certainly for poorer families, because you have to sort of, you know, help the kids usually, because the grants that they get or the loans that they get might not cover everything. You know, you're putting yourself at a big disadvantage financially if you haven't got the money.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a really wide range of technical qualification opportunities out there, whether those are degree apprenticeships, like you were saying, Mike, whether they're high-level technical qualifications as well. There are lots of opportunities out there. I think when we look at the survey data, we do see that young people and also their parents, they're very ambitious for their children. There was a big push, particularly in the 2000s, that to push the aspiration that all young people should go to university. So naturally, parents and young people do see university as the main thing that they should do when they finish school. But you're also absolutely right, Mike, to highlight some of the financial challenges here. Now, if we think about the cost of living crisis that's going on at the moment, this is affecting students particularly badly. In fact, there was a survey out from the National Union of Students in Wales just this week that said that 8% of higher education students in Wales have experienced homelessness this year because of the cost of living crisis. So you are right, there are some major financial challenges as well, particularly for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds to progressing to university.
I mean, that's the other thing, for practicality purposes. I mean, for those people going through clearing, you know, if they want to get a place and they do get a place, they're then going to find themselves probably up against it to find somewhere to live, because a lot of the places that have already been given out have then got, you know, places for those people to go and find, you know, particularly inside sort of student designated dormitories and that kind of thing. They're all taken up already, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly lots of logistical challenges here, particularly as we know that young people who are from disadvantaged backgrounds are more likely to stay at home for university, or are more likely to go to university closer to home. So there's certainly some challenges there. But I think it's important that we make sure that the infrastructure is in place, because a big part of the university experience is not just what you learn academically, it's also having the opportunity to live by yourself, find your way in the world, have a lot of those experiences that are important to shaping you as an adult within the kind of slightly softer confines of the university setting, as it allows you to it sets you up much better for being an adult. So it's important we create an infrastructure to support that.
Right.